Hey collectors, Anthony from HashesNet here, and today we're taking a look at the Retrobit Tribute 64 2.4 GHz wireless controller. Now this controller can be used with either a Nintendo 64 or via devices that accept USB due to its wireless adapters. For my purposes, and due to the lack of availability of classic N64 controllers from the Nintendo Switch, I bought this controller for the Nintendo Switch Online Pass functionality. When we get back, we will take a look at this controller. And this is the Retrobit Tribute 64 2.4 GHz wireless controller. It includes a receiver for the N64 and USB ports. It says on the bottom here, atomic purple, because if I'm going to get gray, I'm going to get the official one. And it says compatible with the N64, Nintendo Switch, and USB-enabled devices. There are some exceptions to this rule. I use Windows 10, it works fine. I use the Nintendo Switch, it's fine, but I'm told some Macs and other USB-enabled devices, no bueno. So do with that what you will. Side of the box here, very just basic social media here. Here's what is in the package, which I will show you momentarily. So then we continue on, and more of what's in the package, a little bit of the features. Includes receivers for N64 and USB, features wireless rumble and memory pack modes. Specifically for the N64, but it does have wireless rumble for each, but the memory pack is for the N64. Dual triggers. Technically on the Switch, for the N64 and for the N64, it is ZL, ZR, or both just Z. And then additional function buttons for use with USB. Yes, there are macros. So let's see what's inside the box. And here is the thing for the hanging of the box. Dump everything out. Here is the N64 Wireless Adapter that fits a memory card. You can also put the roll pack in here, but why? It'll just shake your N64. Here is the USB Wireless Adapter, and of course the controller itself. And it's a 3-foot USB-C type cable. It's used for charging this thing. I didn't try, but I don't think it connects to anything using the USB cord. Could be wrong, whatever. Also in the box, there's just a card that tells you about Retrobit and how to find them. And then the instructions here. Now, the instructions, despite the fact that it being an update you can download, and I will refer to this again later, but there's a link in the description from Mad Little Pixels YouTube channel. It tells you how to update for the Nintendo Online Pass, or the expansion pass for the N64. And then I wrote this down. Here is what the macro is. It's start plus A for 5 seconds, and that will get you the macros you need to arrange these buttons for the expansion pass. And then of course the instructions come in other languages, French, Spanish, etc. So the controller, it actually feels good. Some people say it's too big, some people say it's too small. For me, it's actually kind of perfect. The one thing I've gotten over the years is I hate using these buttons, but I guess the Z button just feels out of the way. I don't know. For like Star Fox, I switched these buttons, and you can switch these buttons by like holding them down for 5 seconds. So otherwise, it's clicky, and I like clicky. Clicky, 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 and then this feels really good. It's not too tight, but it always comes back to 0. It's spectacular. So on the Switch, of course, this is the start button, and this is the minus button, and then this is the home button. And one thing I've realized is, because this is seen as kind of like the C stick, if you go to the menu, you can't use X and Y. You can't close anything, which kind of sucks. So, I mean, it is added functionality which benefits like computer usage, and with emulators you could like tweak the things how you want. But on the N64, it's hard and fast N64 control. I mean, that's why Switches come with Joy-Con, so you can just take a Joy-Con off and exit the program, whatever, no big deal. The batteries are supposed to last at least 8 hours. Usage varies. I only played for a couple hours. Batteries came kind of empty, like 20%. so I had to charge, but it's pretty good. When you are sunk up, one of these lights will turn on, and there's a light in here. It will just stay on red. It's the same thing for this one here. As I've seen other reviews where they've described this, for those who are just curious, there is the memory and the rumble feature. You can switch between them. Apparently, some N64 games, I didn't know this, I must not have had any, gave you a choice of you doing one or the other. Obviously, I have memory cards, and none of those games with memory cards had rumble, I don't think. So, I don't know. And then there's a micro USB-C, or micro USB. Yeah, for some reason. I think it's for updating on the computer. But they didn't give you a cord for that. Whatever. Anyway, the controller is fantastic once you get it updated. Because prior to the update, you don't have that Start A macro that you can set up for the N64. It's smooth plastic. You can see through it. This reminded me of like one of the Game Boys where you could see through it stuff. I dug it. I feel like the all gray N64 color is reserved for Nintendo. And if I'm going to buy something that is not made from Nintendo for one of the Nintendo systems, I'd rather have something that's off color. I don't know. It's just a weird way it is. Maybe my years with them and Pokemon have really tainted me from like that's a sacred color, you know. But otherwise, it's awesome. Again, navigating the Switch becomes difficult because you don't have X and Y. But then if you really want to change that, you can go back to the standard controller setup. Let's see, it says default starting up. So that'll get you back there, and then these two buttons act like, let's see, B, A, X, Y, or whatever, or Y, X, or what. And so I guess that kind of works. Or actually, I think it moves B here, and then this becomes X and Y. But yeah, it shows right here different inputs. So the default mode is B, because the A button becomes B, the B button becomes Y, and then these become L and oh, left and right stick. Okay, I was like, LS? What is LS? You figure it out. I literally watched a bunch of videos and said, okay, start an A. Okay, done. Like, I'm never going to change it. This is what it's bought for. It's bought for the N64. I have not played with the Fighters Brawler64, whatever it's called. I haven't played with the Admiral Hyperkin. I've only read reviews, so I can't really judge hands-on with those controllers. But for extra $5, and I will mention this again, you get the rumble, you get the higher quality build, and yeah, so far so good. I do have one disclaimer. When I bought this is actually my second one. I bought one a couple days before this one. The USB stick was dead. It happens. I saw the reviews. I was aware of it at the time. It's like 7 people have had that problem out of hundreds. When we do quality assurance, our target is not to have more than 5 errors per 100. So far so good. I just got unlucky and got one with an error. I returned it. Now, keep in mind, I ordered these on Amazon. I returned it, and even before I had left to take the old one to the UPS store to send it back to Amazon, this one was already on its way. So, literally had it 2 days later. Played for a couple hours, all good, and it probably needs charge now, but it is a great controller based on my current use of it and my need for an N64 controller on the Switch. So if you like the clicky controls and this tight stick here, like I'm touching it, I'm not putting any real pressure on it, you can see very little it moves. I don't like how small the D-pad is, but it's going to be used very little, and unlike Star Fox and Mario, it doesn't get used at all anyway. Actually, I remember like Mortal Kombat maybe used it, Killer Instinct, because you know they're 2D games. Well, the trilogy and the Killer Instinct Gold, I guess it was. So, but I don't think Nintendo's going to throw that on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, you know. So it does what it needs to do, and that's really all that matters. I believe that the Retrobit 64 is worth the $45 USD price tag. I spent a week researching Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass N64 compatible controllers. The contenders were the Hyperkin Admiral, Retrobit Tribute 64, and the Retro Fighters Brawler 64. I watched a number of reviews, read some articles, and have come to the conclusion that if you cannot wait until at least summer to get a N64 controller for your Switch and want more features, then buy the Retrobit Tribute 64 controller. People seem to appreciate the quality, despite it sort of looking like the Xbox Duke controller. It also is compatible with the original N64 and has built-in rumble. A quick dongle firmware update via a Windows PC makes it compatible with the expansion pass. Also, some buttons can be switched via the controller's macros. If you would like to know how to update the controller to be expansion pass ready, then check out the link in the description for Mad Little Pixel's instructional video on YouTube. With that said, tell me in the comments if you bought one of the aforementioned N64 controllers for your Nintendo Switch. Do you have a preference? What did you think about it? Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.